Hello everybody and welcome to Silverstone. Now, oh, I can smell the history oozing from the tarmac here. And is history going to be made this weekend? Well, we don't know, but one thing we do know is that we have a motorsport feast for you to tuck into. So there's only one thing left to do, isn't there? It's time to feel the rhythm, feel the ride, get on up, it's motorsport time!
Paul Plant, the Alfa Giulietta. 71 Luke Pound goes first. 77 Finn Jones, the one that he is in. And 83 Edward Cook goes first. Invitation class, Ollie Turner on his own, and 999 Simon McCormick, otherwise known as Simon Dormat apparently. But anyway, Simon McCormack is on it. No, he's not. He's got Kiri O'Donnell with him, hasn't he? Yeah. And then in the invitation class, Clio's, number 4, Darren Geertz is on his own. No Anton Spires. 11 is Brad Thurston starting. 41 is Aaron Thompson, and 67 is James Black. Well, there we are. Thanks to Steve. We've got all the start drivers sorted, and now we need to have a grid.
But Luke, let's start with you. Qualifying, how did it go?
Yeah, not too bad. It was could have been better. It was obviously a lot of cars out there and that. It was trying to set up a lap and that, and as soon as you come around the first corner and that, it was like, oh, cars in the way again. It's like, yeah, qualified 6th. A thousandth off of 5th place and then a 10th off of 4th, so really close.
Tight, really tight,
really close. Frustrating when it's like that, but yeah, now the rain's sort of coming in and that, it's going to be an interesting first race, and yeah, we'll see what.
Well, let's talk about rain, Andy, because of it just started to trickle down a little bit, didn't it?
Wasn't it? Yeah.
It just started to trickle down just as qualifying started, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, it's a little trickle, but you know that weren't our problem. We had a wheel speed sensor go, so we had no ABS, no traction control, and it was jumping in and out of gear for no more love than money. So yeah, a little bit frustrating. Haven't got where we want to get on the grid, but we'll get there in the race.
But the job's done in the race, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't that the most important thing? And the car's going to be all right?
Oh, the car will be fine. I mean, we've made a hell of a lot of changes to it. You know, it's a hell of a lot wider, bigger brakes, bigger tyres. So hopefully going.
And rain tyres coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got wets now, so I'm happy with that.
Luke, do you like the rain?
Love it. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it. It was that last round at Brands and that everyone was on dry setup, and then it chucked it down when we was on the start grid, and that was very interesting. There was 3 wide round to the first sort of 3 corners, and that it was fun. So it was looking forward to it.
Although one thing I think the 3 of us agree, and if you just take your hat off, the rain plays absolute havoc with our hair, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, Andy's not showing his hair.
Oh no.
Sure. I don't know why, but
might be just of the receding hairline, you know, helmet hair, few excuses.
I'll offer to give him a hair transplant if he wants.
Guys, look, best of luck for the race. We'll be watching. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Right, here we are with Brian and Jas down in the carriages here. And qualifying had just finished. Brian, we're going to start with you this time. How was it for you?
Yeah, it's really good. We're not as confident in the car as we was at Brands. We've got a couple of issues we're going to try and deal with, and hopefully it'll be better for the first race.
Absolutely. Now, Justin, you're a busy man this weekend, aren't you? You're pretty much driving in almost everything, aren't you?
Yeah, might be doing the Kuma as well.
Yeah.
As long as it's all fine.
As long as it's all right.
Yeah, as long as you're happy with it, we'll do Kuma. Obviously, Brian's doing Kuma as well.
Yeah.
In the orange one.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Look, we've got obviously Britcar coming up first, 50-minute race.
Yeah.
Is there a particular strategy, or is it just see how it's panning out on track?
Well, it's wet today, so obviously you just have to get the car around and see where we should have come. We ain't qualified where we should have been, but obviously we'll see.
Of course, if there's a safety car, that might throw a few things in and out.
I think the weather's going to really make some big decisions on tyres, to be honest with you, because if it stays dry for like 10 minutes of the first half of the race, you go out on wet, you're wasting your time. I think it's going to be a lot of strategy on tyres.
It certainly is, isn't it? If it is dry, you kind of pretty much just burn your wets off, don't you?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting one. Guys, look, thank you. We're going to be watching. It's going to be a cracker in it. Thank you. Right, here we are with Ollie Turner. Now, Ollie, you've just done your first ever qualifying in Britcar Endurance Trophy. How was it?
quite smoky because I locked up quite a bit, but that's just down to me setting the brake bias a bit too far. But no, I'm really enjoying it. It's been great. It's been great to do something different for once, I guess. But yeah, no, great. We've finished P2 in class, so yeah, we could have.
P2 in class on your debut.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
That's pretty good.
Not too bad.
Now, track conditions, obviously it's chucking it down now. What was it like in qualifying? Was there a few spits and spats coming down?
No, it was completely dry for us actually. But yeah, going to be different now obviously. It's going to be a bit greasy, but I'll say greasy, it's going to be pouring with rain, but yeah.
I've seen you drive in the wet before, it's no problem, right?
Yeah, no bother for me. I enjoy it more in actual fact, so. But yeah, but then again, 50 minutes in the rain, I've not done that before, so.
And you're a sole driver, aren't you? Doing it all by yourself, doing the whole 50 minutes stint?
All by myself.
Do you prefer that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. It's either way, really. It's just more track time for me, if anything, so happy days.
Fantastic. Ollie, best of luck for the race. We'll be watching. Cheers, mate.
And he does a lot of work for charity as well. How he finds the time, I don't know.
Yeah, but he never seems to have a co-driver.
No, no.
He always seems to go on his own, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, if you want it done right and all that.
Yeah. He has shared with Lee Frost a couple of times in the past.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
Although they tend to race on their own anyway.
But he's frozen Lee Frost out now. Move on.
It's giving him the cold shoulder.
Any more offers? Right, they're going round. They're probably the leading cars are passing here at the moment on their green flag lap.
No, they're still on the grid, I believe, aren't they?
Oh, I thought I heard them setting off. No, right.
No, there's. I think
my back turned to the grid.
There's a driving experience going on past my side over here with Ferraris, Aston Martins.
Hence the engine noise. I could hear everything. Yeah, right. Okay.
It confused me earlier. I was spinning around here like a spinning top, trying to figure out where the noise was coming from. But no, there's some Ferrari 430s and Aston Martin Vantages being ragged around on the other half of the circuit at the moment.
They're off now.
Yeah, we're having trouble with one of our screens, our laptop. Anyway, they're off now, so in a moment you will see the pace car followed by good, right, a BMW side by side with a BMW 1 Series and the Lucky Carer M346.
It's not the usual habitat of a BMW. Usually it's right up somebody's backside in the fast line of the M6, but at the moment...
Are you making aspersions on BMW? I don't have a BMW, so...
I do.
Oh, you do, don't you? Yes.
I'm speaking from experience.
So that's the way you drive, is it?
No. No.
The rare exception, right, okay.
I am the one exception. But I'm not sure if you can hear them, especially through my microphone here in this commentary box. I've had to have the window open so it doesn't steam up in here, because now it was, when it's been soaking this morning and now it is warming up, it is just a massive box of steam in here. So we have this beautiful, beautiful grid of all sorts of cars making its way past. The Giulietta at the back of the field as well, gorgeous looking machine. You don't see too many of those racing, and it's a real shame because it's a good looking car if you ask me.
Right, so I'll ask you, yes, this is a good-looking car.
It is indeed.
Very good, right. Okay, right, are we going to get one or two of these laps? It looks like we may get a second. Yes, we are going to get a second because the track conditions are possibly a little bit different from how they were during their qualifying session. On road 2, then, we have 74 Mark Lee with his Ginetta, and beside him number 308, appropriately, because it's a Peugeot 308, Steve Rothery's car. You told us a little bit earlier on, Steve, about these Peugeots being let in. They've proved to be very competitive.
Yes, I found out during the break that they are actually factory-built cars, cup cars.
Oh, the Peugeot 308 Cup, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to see some of those racing actually over in France in April as part of a series over there called the FFSA Tourist Trophy, and they're incredibly noisy but incredibly potent. They make a really good pop and bang on pretty much every upshift and downshift, but yeah, like you say, factory built, almost TCR spec cars,
right.
But
not
very,
quite
very
apparently,
quick.
not quite.
So the noise is justified by their performance?
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
Right, okay. Which circuit was that at?
That was at Nogaro, Circuit Nogaro in France.
Right.
And like I say, not quite TCR, but they look similar. They could be mistaken for them, I'd say.
They're one step down, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, they're sort of like, they're between sort of TCR and, let's say, Clio Cup levels, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of Clio Cup, there's a number of them at the back of the grid this afternoon, which will be making up the final class, which has its own class as well. There is one in there actually that's a Class 2 car. Andy Mollison in the 177.
That's an endurance spec vehicle.
Okay, well, we're about to get going then as the pace car turns off its lights and peels off into the pit lane. So heading towards Woodcote Corner and the start line. On the left-hand side of the track is the orange BMW Lucky Carer. On the right-hand side of the track is the white BMW 1 Series of Simon Baker, and the red lights are out. So all the cars with some spray being kicked up still off the racing line particularly. It is Simon Baker that grabs the lead, is it? Yes, the white BMW has the lead over Lucky Carer in the red. Red one in second place as they head up towards you, Chaz, for the first time.
They do indeed, and yes, it is the 1 Series holding strong at the front at the moment. Number 74, Ginetta, staying third as well. Everybody just tiptoeing their way into Beckett's here. A couple of cars, a little bit of a lock-up on the brakes. I can see a few stationary front right wheels here. A bit of a squeeze further back between the number 57, Giulietta, and the number 19, Ginetta. But everybody, by the look of it, making it through safely. We've got the 177 Clio, the Mollison car that I mentioned before, going very slowly on the exit, but everyone else making it through safely.
Yeah, that was about halfway down the grid, so it's down at the tail end by the sound of things. Getting away already is Simon Baker then, so Simon Baker in the white BMW 1 Series getting well clear of the nearest pursuer, which looks to me like the Peugeot, but through comes the leader then. In that very colourful white BMW. In second place it is the Peugeot, number 308, so Steve Rothery. It does look like a TCR device, doesn't it? So heading into Copse Corner, starting lap 2. But already the lead that Steve Baker has, 2.8 seconds, heading towards you.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying now, chucking it into Beckett's. He'll be a bit more confident this time round. Now he knows exactly what the car is capable of on the brakes in these conditions. Obviously the track will be changing all the time, but our second place starter, Lucky Carer, down into 4th place now. He's got a train behind him as well, one of which is the 111 Ginetta. Gets a great run out of Beckett's, actually, sticks it down the right-hand side. It looks like Van Niederveen is going to go through.
Just cutting in quickly, guys. Johnny McGregor, the 33 car, already into the pits after that early lap to change tyres. So whether it's going to be a tactical move on him if the conditions are going to improve.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Chaz? Looking at the circuit you can see, is it dry enough yet, do you think, to risk slicks?
I don't think yet. There's still quite a lot of spray on the way down into here. They are very, very cautious on the brakes as well, so I think they know just as much as we can see that it is still very wet down here. It doesn't look like it's drying quickly either.
The ambient temperature is quite high, so it'll dry out. Well, I would have thought it might dry out quite quickly. Anyway, up to 3rd place now is number 74, so Mark Lee now 3rd. And Lucky Carer falling away. He's dropped down to 5th place. Up into 4th has come number 111, Axel Van Niederveen, with you.
Yeah, he's actually got a good gap over him as well. He's got the Team Brit BMW 2 Series just behind him with another one of the Peugeots that he's trying to hold off. That is the number 14 car of Stevens, who again, very tentative on the brakes. You can definitely tell which of these cars are better at getting the traction down out of Beckett's, because some of them are struggling with wheel spin, drifting the car out, especially the rear wheel drive machinery such as Lucky Carer's BMW. But there's an absolute gaggle of cars behind them. You could convince me it was just a touring car championship back here, because there's so many behind the blue Porsche.
But they're driving in a very well-behaved manner.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So anyway, coming out of Luffield to complete the 3rd lap, Simon Baker led at the start of the lap by 3.5 seconds. For second place, he's getting close because the Ginetta closing up there, number 74, Mark Lee's car closing in on the Peugeot as they go down into Copse Corner. It's still just the Peugeot ahead, Steve Rothery just in front as they go through Copse Corner for the 3rd time and up towards you, Chaz.
He's still having a look. He's on the left-hand side, but not able to make it through yet. Let's see what the difference is on the brakes. He does close up quite a lot, but that's just a natural concertina effect. Obviously, rear-wheel drive Ginetta versus front-wheel drive Peugeot. Ginetta seems to actually squat down really well, but these guys need to think about this now, don't they, Ian? Because if they fight too much, Van Niederveen's going to be right with them.
Well, I was just going to say that. He's gone purple. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far, Axel Van Niederveen, at 1:06.058 as compared with the leader, 1:06.7 on his best lap, 1:07 last time around. But Simon Baker at the moment is holding sway at the front, but there's a build-up of cars for second place. Rotherham, Lee and Van Niederveen closing up. Still that order, still the Peugeot, the leading car in that trio, but the two Ginettas are closing up. What do you reckon, Steve? Do you think there's a chance here of the Ginetta moving through?
I think it's entirely possible, yes. But getting back to tyres, just remember these aren't slicks. These are Goodyear Director, which are treaded track day tyres.
They can't have slicks.
No, they are treaded track day tyres.
Yeah.
They have got a wet option as well, though.
That's intriguing. You'd have to sort of think about the balance of what they might gain by going on to slicks from that point if they're still grooved. So it's an interesting shout for them, much different to a lot of other series you see, which, like you say, usually have slicks.
Wets and slicks, yes. Yeah, so if they started on wets, it might be, it's a 50-minute race. It's going to get, if it doesn't rain again, pretty dry.
Well, the treaded tyre, the Director, is good up to a point in the rain.
Right.
And I will think this is the point that it's good up to.
Okay, leaders up at Luffield, and that gap's coming down, I reckon. First to second at the start of the lap was 2.5 seconds. It was more than that a couple of laps ago. But it is still Simon Baker leading in the 1 Series BMW from a closely matched pair for second place. Steve Rothery only just ahead of the Lee Ginetta, and then Van Niederveen watching the pair of them, waiting for the slightest opportunity to go through Copse Corner and back up to Magnus and Beggars into your side, Chaz.
Yep, still nothing doing here, but he's just following very, very closely. He'll be filling the rear view of that mirror, the rear view mirror of that Peugeot, very, very much so. Even though the front of the car is bright yellow, he gets a really good run. He's changed up quite early, actually. Sounded like he short shifted. Got the power down. He's actually alongside as they come back towards you, but I don't think he's going to have the overlap by the time they get to that corner.
And there's some, as you've already said, there's some wonderful racing going on low down the order. They came through Woodcote just then as if it was the rolling, the pace start of the rolling lap start. They were side by side, about 3-4 rows of them. Anyway, they'll soon be caught by the leaders and lapped, and the leader comes out of Luffield now. The order behind has changed, in that now up into second place is number 74, so through into second place has gone the number 74 car, Mark Lee. Steve Rothery down to third, and Axel Van Niederveen still a very close fourth. So Ginetta is second as they head back towards you for the 7th time, Chaz.
It's incredible how quickly laps fly by here at Silverstone National, isn't it? But yes, indeed.
Just cutting in quickly, guys. Had a quick word with one of the technicians for Lucky Kira, and he's already on the dry tyres. So he says, the team said he's going to make an early stop, but he's already on what they think is going to be the right tyres for the rest of the race.
Great, Gary. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah, thank you. That explains why he dropped off a little bit compared to the others, but later on in the race he could really come through. But yes, the massive gaggle that we mentioned earlier, Ian, is the number 15 Porsche from Higgins, holding off an absolute abundance of Clios, Civics and all sorts behind him. It's great racing to watch, but like you say, every single time they've come into my sight and left, they've all been 2x2x2, Noah's Ark all the way round.
Yeah.
But there's just, it's again a highlight of a fantastic championship like this. We've got a Porsche 996 under attack from Clio Cup cars, a Civic Type R, another older Clio and some Ginettas. It's
side by side for third, the Peugeot and the second of the Ginettas running side by side through Woodcote. Meanwhile, closing the gap down, the new fastest lap goes to number 74 Mark Lee as he closes the gap down to 1.2 seconds, and they're back with you.
They are indeed, and I tell you what, the race leader is not getting away at the moment. That Mark Lee Ginetta doing a fantastic job in second place, and Van Niederveen is indeed up into third position now, the 308 down to fourth, but they've got quite a comfortable gap over the following car, which is the number 70 Tucker and Birch Team Brit BMW. That 2 Series holding on ahead of Lucky Kira and number 14 I should say, driven by Terry Stevens at the moment.
Just remember, Lucky Kira, he's borrowed the car he's in, the orange BMW. He's going to be raced by Brian tomorrow, so he's got to be careful in it.
He's going to be a good boy.
Yeah.
Not get ahead of himself as it's easy to do.
Leaders through Woodcote then to complete their 8th lap, and the gap is virtually 2 lengths, perhaps a little bit more than that as they go past the pits, but it's not a lot. It's 1.115 seconds, the gap third to second. Van Niederveen 1.2 behind Lee. And Rothery's still there in touch in 4th place, and those 4 have completely outpaced the rest of the field.
Yeah, there's a big gap now, but this sort of quartet at the front, very unlikely quartet of a BMW 1 Series, 2 Ginettas and a Peugeot 308. Sounds like a really bad car meet, doesn't it?
Yes.
But the number 74 Ginetta gets a fantastic run for the lead out of Beckett's. The number 10 BMW went very, very wide. Looked like he tried to take an early apex and the car just washed out. He's got the legs in a straight line though in that 1 Series, hasn't he? I tell you what, Simon Baker moves down there.
Yeah, very quick, and heading into... There they are, the leading cars turning through Brooklands into Luffield now. It's the BMW with about 2 Ginetta lengths between it and the car following, which is the Ginetta, of course, for third place, just lapping a slower car, which is kept out of the way. Number 177 was the one being lapped there.
That was
Ryan Firth.
Yeah, that I think was it the Mollison car 177 that dropped down earlier on. He dropped off very, very early in the race. I think he had an issue. But,
right, that's right. Ryan Firth starting the driving. Andy Mollison will take it over. The pit window, incidentally, will open at 11:57. It's currently 11:46, coming up for 11:47. So in about 10 minutes' time, just over 10 minutes, the pit window will be open.
We've got Deja Vu coming out of Beckett's again here, actually, as the number 74 Ginetta looks down the inside on the exit, but Simon Baker able to really stretch the legs of that BMW and stay in front before they get back with you. So it looks like at the moment the Ginetta's just going to have to catch him out on the brakes and make sure he blocks it off again on the exit.
Now they're coming up to a whole load of cars you've been talking about that they're going to have to lap. They can't, as I say, there's 10 minutes before the pit window opens, so they can't make an early pit stop to get this lot of cars out of their way. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars about to be lapped by the leading 3. The Peugeot, Steve Brotherman has really dropped off it now, hasn't he? So it is one BMW against 2 Ginettas as they pour into Copse Corner. You should see some of those 6 cars first, then in amongst them you'll get the first 3 cars in the race.
Yeah, now that really is a bad car meet on the move, isn't it? The Ginettas looked to the left-hand side of the BMW. He tried to get a really cheeky move, what was around the outside of Copse and then the inside into Beckett's. Doesn't quite work for him, but they're really held up on the apex by the 19 Ginetta. They've got the 77 Golf just in front of that as well. And Van Niederveen's done a great job actually of getting through that traffic. He got a really nice run on the exit. Not sure if he's going to be able to challenge Lee as he comes to you, Ian, but he's certainly got the legs out of there.
And once they've dealt with this first group of 6, there's another group of 6 ahead of them too to negotiate. But they've practiced on the first lot. They're working their way through Brooklands at the moment, and there's, I think it's right to say, yes, he has, that Simon Baker has got clear, but the second place Ginetta, Mark Lee, has not yet worked his way through, or has he? Yes, he has. He's got through the whole lot of them, and with right behind him, number 111. Now, Mark Lee going onto the wet parts of the circuit as he goes past the pits to try and look after his tyres a bit, but you'll see there's a gap opened up first to second to 1.5 seconds. It was less than that a lap ago, caused by the traffic, the lapping of the traffic. The Van Niederveen right behind Lee.
Yeah, this is again one of the many wonderful joys of endurance racing, isn't it? You've not only got the humongous mix of cars with all of their different strengths and weaknesses, you've then got the different drivers that you'll see in each car, and then the traffic on a short circuit like this. This is a fantastic combination, if you ask me. And all afternoon we're going to see racing similar to this, but not quite in the same vein. We've got a contact between the 19 Ginetta, one of the Clios. I'm not sure whether he can even see him out the right side. I've just elbowed him out of the way in a straight line, but he survives and continues. But that was a scary moment for the number 19 Ginetta there, Steve Griffiths.
Into the pits has come number 14. That's the
other Peugeot, isn't it?
The Peugeot, yes. So that was, well, it came out of the pit lane. It was in 10th place, but I think it was a bit better than that. So problems for that car, obviously. Leaders go through. It is still nose to tail for second place between Lee and Van Niederveen, with the gap coming down to the leader. So although Simon Baker still has the lead, and gap is down to 0.8 of a second, it's this time it's Axel Van Niederveen who has the new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 5.668. So he is just a second behind. They're back up with you. Yeah, Baker being caught by the Ginettas.
He is indeed, and they're just catching up to the Clio Cup as well as they get onto the back of the 67 and the 11 machine, that being James Black and then Brad Thurston. That's being shared with Cherrington as well. But yeah, very even gaps between the three of them. But Van Niederveen is absolutely on a mission now down the back straight. Like you say, fastest lap of the race last time round, only just beating Lee, but still the pair of them closing in on that big BMW.
Right, there they are in the traffic again as they make their way through Luffield.
Oh, sorry to cut over you, Ian, but we've just had a very, very close call here, actually. The number 40 BMW just making a move around the outside. That's Jasper Sapra going past the number 22 TCR Golf, which is being driven by, is that Ollie Tyler, did I see his name as? Ollie Turner, apologies. A good friend of mine, Mark Wakefield, runs that team, so I should get that right. But yeah, very,
just
very
cutting in
close
quickly,
call.
guys. I'm here with Terry Stevens, just brought the car into the pit lane, but the team are sweeping up lots of gravel, so I think there's been a bit of an off there.
Little slide, yes, into the grass and then put me into the gravel. Driver went out, bad decision I think, but it was getting drier and drier, but I ended up putting my foot down a bit too much.
Over exuberance, but everything's all safe though. Well, you'll be out for race 2. Great stuff. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Gary, for that. That's choice of tyre. So it sounds like he went for this less wet option, but they weren't the tyres for the conditions.
Yeah, lucky carer actually. Just watching him through Beckett's, he seems to be able to get his foot down a little bit better now. He's making his way through the traffic as well. He's now cleared that E-Team Britcar as well.
We've got a challenge for the leads because they come through Woodcote. There's 2 slower cars ahead of them, but the 2 leaders are nose to tail. It's nearly 3 for the leaders. They lap a couple of cars. One of them a Ginetta G40, helping its bigger sister perhaps. Anyway, they got through Copse Corner, lapping the 2 slower cars, so it should be nose to tail virtually for the lead between Baker, Lee and Van Nederveen.
It is as well. Baker only just ahead of Lee. Van Nederveen clears the 996 Porsche, hard on the brakes into Beckett. That BMW looks so stable through here, but just on the exit maybe just a little bit more tentative than the 2 Ginettas chasing it down. Interesting to note that the Ginettas have 2 different rear wings on them, one of them much taller than the other, one almost the GT4 Super Cup spec, but they just can't do it yet, can they?
The first penalty of the day, a 5-second penalty, goes to number 45 Arthur McMahon with his Honda Civic for exceeding the track limits.
I've not seen him do anything down here, so I can't incriminate him.
No, I think Copse is the favourite place for doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the leading 3 nose to tail as they lap, as they'll have to do on every lap now of the race, lap something. They're just lapping number 45 as they come through Woodcote. Arthur McMahon, I just mentioned him with his penalty. And so now a challenge by Axel Van Nederveen for second place as they go into Copse Corner, but still held at bay just by Mark Lee. So Mark Lee's still second.
Oh, the side-by-side though as they get down to me. Van Nederveen just backing out of it. There's the Golf right in front of them, the 999 car just getting in the way slightly. He can't do it yet. He's going to focus on getting a good exit out of here, down the back straight now. Just quickly to note as well, the 177 Clio is going slowly again down the back straight, and the number 70 Team Brit BMW almost came to a halt here as well, making a lot of squeaking noises. Sounded like maybe a brake seized or something.
Number 4, is that one of the ones you were talking about? I think it was, isn't it? Darren Geertz with his Clio into the pits. Leading 3 cars nose to tail. This is remarkable stuff, this series, isn't it? I know the Silverstone National Circuit makes for good racing, but this is remarkable. 3 for the lead, and Axel Van Nederveen looks for the inside going through Woodcote. There's no space to get through there, so he still has to follow through it. Goes to the outside line as they go past the pits down towards Copse Corner. The 2 Ginettas are side by side, but on the inside line, Mark Lee just hangs on to second place through Copse Corner, but they are of course this is delaying them slightly, so it's allowing the gap to open up again to the leader.
Well, you say that, but it looks like he's had a really bad run out of Copse, and they're actually closer than ever. Right behind him, the Ginetta, number 74, Mark Lee, almost goes into the back of the race leader. They both get a great run out of there. Now watch the slipstreaming as they come back towards Huey, and it looks like Mark Lee might lose a place to Van Nederveen, but he also might get the lead out of this with some good whip.
There's a wonderfully sliding Clio just going down into completely sideways, just sliding across the track. It ended up pointing still in the right way and headed out to Brooklands. Yeah, so we've got still BMW, Ginetta in the same order as it was at the start of the lap. We're not really paying much attention to what else is going on elsewhere. There's so much excitement at the front. We're going to get even more jumbled up once the pit stops start. Now, I think Axel Van Nederveen.
Just cutting in quickly, guys. I'm in the pit lane with Johnny McGregor. An early retirement for you. What was the problem?
Not sure at the moment. The car was absolutely fine all day yesterday. We had a bit of a boost problem this morning in qualifying, which we cleared up, and it's just not running right at all of a sudden. So, I'd say it was absolutely fine in qual, apart from we were lacking a bit of boost. we fixed that and we've gone out, and it just sounds terrible all of a sudden. So we'll have a look and try and sort it out.
Sort it out for race 2.
I'll tell you the 2 hours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Johnny. Cheers.
That's the number 33 Mac G Racing RX-8. That a real shame. That good friend of mine uses them for all of his track day stuff, and they're a fantastic bunch. But yeah, not having a good time with the RX-8, it seems.
Right. Well, I was going to run down the order before the pit stops start. We've got the leaders coming into Luffield. So first is number 10, Simon Baker. Second is 74.
Van Nieleveen's got in front, I think. Got in front of the Lee.
Yes, he has. So the white Ginetta is now ahead of the sort of black and green messy Ginetta, to describe that delivery. So now it is Axel van Niederveen's turn to try and challenge for the lead. I was trying to... this is the trouble, they go round so quickly to try and sort the order out. Anyway, it's 10, 111, 74 in the first 3 places. 308 Steve Rotherham in the Peugeot is 4th. Lucky Kara in the BMW number 24 is 5th. 6th is number 40, which was started by Brian Branson, BMW. He's 6th. 7th is number 118, which is Dave May's Nissan. 8th is number 22, which is the where have we got number 22?
That's the TCR Golf.
Ollie Turner Golf. That's going nicely. 9th is number 70, which is the Andrew Tucker BMW. And in 10th place, that's as far as we'll take them, because it's all going to get jumbled up, 15, Richard Higgins in his Porsche 996. Phew.
Like you say, this is just it's an amazing combination.
A challenge, a challenge for the Lee as they came through Woodcote. So Axel van Niederveen, now that he's sorted out Mark Lee, who's kind of dropped back a bit to catch his breath, I should think. New fastest lap to Axel van Niederveen last time around, 1 minute 5.430. He crossed the line 0.3 of a second behind Simon Baker. They're nose to tail or side by side. Anyway, they're with you.
Well, van Niederveen's now in front. He sweeps around the outside on the way through Maggots, stamps on the brakes into Beckett's, and he has got it sorted, and he gets a great run off the corner as well. He could potentially use the 177 Clio that is a lap down as an advantage here. It looks like they're all going to clear him though before they get back to you, but van Niederveen is in the lead. He just needs to watch out for that BMW in a straight line because it's a missile.
Right, well the pit window is now open. It'll be open until 12 minutes past 12, so that's how long they've got to make their mandatory pit stop. And Steve, when they stop, how long do they have to be stationary for?
It's 2 minutes.
So that's round here, 2 laps.
Yes.
Yes, so that's going to mess things up.
Also known as a lifetime in motorsport, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, so for the first time for a while, there's daylight between first and second and third, but in terms of actual seconds, it's 0.585 of a second, first to second. Another new fastest lap to Axel van Niederveen, 0.585 of a second behind him over the line was Simon Baker in the BMW, and third, Mark Lee's Ginetta, and he's 1.4 seconds behind the BMW. Steve Rothery in 4th place on his own. Everybody else is having somebody to race against. Steve Rothery's just got himself to play with.
Yeah, it's a very under-the-radar performance at the moment, but he's still doing very well in 4th place. It's a great battle going on.
And the Lucky Kira BMW into pit lane, the 24 BMW into pit lane now.
Now, he did say he was going to make an early stop, and that is very, very true, as we see. But yeah, the battle for the lead in Class 2 between that number 22 Golf and the number 118 sorry, not a BMW, that's going to offend a few people. Nissan 370Z being shared by May and Skeets. Those two are having a right old scrap, and they've swapped positions a few times in the last couple of laps, but the TCR Golf and the almost GT4-like 370Z looking great together and having a good day racing by the look of it.
Yes, Turner running in the invitation class. So Lucky Kara in the pits, as we say, and also in the pits 27 and 64 making an early-ish pit stop. 27 being Charlotte Birch, and she was 16th. Yeah,
there was a moment there, the race leader just trying to put a lap on the number 57 Alfa Romeo Giulietta, and sorry, the Giulia, and he just dived down the inside, but the Alfa just cut right across him on the way into Beckett's. Luckily, van Niederveen's got some good brakes on that Ginetta. I imagine needs some new overalls though.
You were right first time. It is a Giulietta, not a
Giulietta. It is. Yes, it is. Yes. Sorry.
Since I drive a Giulietta, so I know what it looks like.
Oh, there you go.
Right. So what's happened to the leader? The leader is making his way through Luffield, pulling away now, and it's really settled down, that battle now. Mark Lee not moving in to challenge Simon Baker.
I tell you one that hasn't settled down is the brilliant fight between this number 15 Porsche, the blue machine, the number 41 Thompson and Thompson Clio, and the two of them are having a bit of a scrap around the outside of a Honda Civic that seems to have been dragged into it as well. It's great fun to watch every single time the Clio on 3 wheels.
Simon Baker, the BMW 1 Series number 10, into the pits and to hand over to Kevin Clark. Now, I think, Steve, you were saying Kevin is the quicker driver.
Yes, he is. Yeah, slightly. Probably a second a lap, maybe.
Okay, well, in that case, the BMW has got a real chance of wresting the lead back. But, well, Axel van Nederveen going alone today, doesn't have Adriano Medeiros to hand over to. So, is he a Dutchman or a Belgian?
He's Belgian.
Belgian, yeah. So Axel van Nederveen.
Lucky Kira fires up the BMW in his away again, and I'll just have a quick word with one of the team guys. Everything okay?
Yeah, all good. Just a few chain suspension setup changes and tyre pressure, so we should be good to go.
Excellent, well done.
Right, more cars in the pits. 22 is in, as is the Nissan.
That'll be the 118 machine then that was fighting with the TCR Golf, so Turner will be on his own for a moment. Probably nice to have a bit of breathing room.
So the Ginettas go through, not yet stopping, no drivers to hand over to, but they will have to make the pit stop, of course. And a new fastest lap, well, no, he set it a couple of laps ago actually, Axel van Nederveen, 1:4.983.
He's gone purple in sector 1 though this time round actually.
Yes.
As Van Nederveen, so he's really getting his foot down still. He doesn't care whether this pit stop's going on around him or not. He's just getting on with his race, and I think that's probably one of the bonuses of being an only driver in a race like this, isn't it? You don't have to worry about what the other driver does. If you get into a rhythm, you can just crack on with it, can't you?
Yes. But you do have to make the stop.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
You can disrupt the rhythm to some extent.
And you've got to maintain it for 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
48 minutes.
Rather than me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got another 10 minutes, 9 minutes before the pit window closes. Still quite a few cars. The leading pit stopper is now, let's just see.
Baker and Clark it is.
Yeah, the Baker and Clark car fires up and he's just about to leave the pit lane. A fairly slick pit stop for them. I'll see if I can track down Simon and have a quick word. So back to you guys for a moment.
Okay, new fastest lap to Axel van Nederveen as he goes through to complete 24th lap, 1:4.891 now. In qualifying they got down into the 1:1, 1:2, so clearly the track's still not at its best, and the tyres they're on probably, if they're the wet tyres, then obviously not conducive to doing the ultimate lap time. In third place, number 40, we've been mentioning from time to time, Brian Branson, the BMW, in third place, yet to stop. And up to fourth for the moment has come number 15. So that's Richard Higgins in his Porsche 996, now fourth. And fifth is the leading Clio, number 41, Aaron Thompson, one of the Westbourne Motors run cars.
Got a bit of a soft spot for that Porsche, I must admit. It's been going very, very well so far. It's just come past my box again here. Just getting rid of that 41 Clio behind it.
Quickly explain your reason for your soft spot. Because it's a Porsche.
I do like a Porsche. I just think it's one of the final sort of elegant ones before they got a little bit more angular and a bit sharp. I know it's a bit daft to say about a Porsche, but it's one of the real sort of last bonkers GT3s that they did, really, for me.
When you get a full grid of them, though, it's a bit different. When it kind of stands out in a race of mixed hot hatches.
Yeah, oh, for sure, yeah.
Through has gone Van Nederveen then. He leads Mark Lee by 9 seconds now. That's gone up quite a bit, hasn't it? But I must say that number 10, now in the hands of Kevin Clark, it actually looked quicker as it came through for Clark. It was going well previously, but I think it's got a real chance of winning the race.
Well, the back end of the car has just tried to take the Grand Prix circuit, while the front end of the car wanted to do the national circuit. He booted the rear end out round here. It looks great, but I'm not sure it'll help his lap times. But he's certainly pushing it hard now, so I expect to see those lap times coming down and down and down.
But the one who's downest is actually Lucky Kera, who's now done the fastest lap of the race last time around. Lucky Kera in the number 24 BMW. It may be a borrowed car, but 1:4.397 stands as the new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, good 2/10 quicker. than the previous one set by Van Nederveen. So the bright orange BMW drawing attention to itself in more ways than just its livery. But like you say, a borrowed car, it's not quite drive it like you stole it, but it's drive it like you borrowed it.
Mark Lee now has a 5-second penalty for exceeding the track limits once too often. So in second place, Mark Lee with a penalty, I'm afraid.
Now that rubs it in really, really badly, because not only is he trying to catch Van Nederveen and falling away, he's actually exceeding track limits doing it.
Yeah. So I think the race is, the likely outcome is between the BMW, the 1 Series BMW, now in the hands of Kevin Clark, and Axel Van Nederveen.
Yes, yeah, I agree. It's certainly going to be a showdown between the two of them. It's just going to be all
just
about...
cutting it again quickly, guys. I'm with Steve Baker, and a good first session for you.
Oh yeah, just a bit intense to be fair. The last few laps was getting a bit heated, so it was nice to see the pit window open. So it's good.
And all good for the race this afternoon as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously we were thinking it was going to rain and then not stop, but obviously it's dry now, isn't it? So I think maybe the rain will come back, but obviously we made a good decision on the tyres. We started out wet, so a few of the guys started dry tyres. So it should be good this afternoon.
Great stuff, well done. Okay, well, I'll leave Steve, because he's actually walked across his garage barefoot to come and see me, so I'll let
That's
him
very good.
go back to his workshop and hospitality and get changed.
Okay, 64 is coming into the pits, but also into the pits has been Mark Lee, number 74. So he's making his mandatory pit stop. He's got the 5-second penalty as well. A stop-go penalty. He's obviously encroaching on track limits. Ollie Turner. So Ollie Turner, who was running in the top 10, wasn't he? He's now got to have a stop-go penalty, which of course of 13 seconds. So it's actually not just stop and go. It's stop, wait 13 seconds and go. So that's presumably because he was too quick on his pit stop.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
But the leader is now pitted as well.
That's a real shame, that is. Real shame.
Yeah, the leader is in. Kevin Clark has just done the absolute best middle sector on this lap in the number 10 BMW. Fastest lap, Lucky Carer, 1 minute 4.039 now. Lucky is going more and more purple, but he's got a challenger for the fastest lap of the race, because Kevin Clark in the BMW 1 Series is as quick, if not quicker, at times in sectors.
You'd hope Lucky doesn't go too purple, though. It might clash with the orange, to be fair. But
well, yeah, that's...
he certainly is on an absolute mission, though, like you say. It's great to see him. To be fair, we predicted early on that he'd be really, really quick, and it's now just a case of how well will he get through the traffic. We've both seen before, of course, how much traffic can affect that. 17 minutes and 3/4 to go. That's gone unbelievably quickly.
Yes.
Now, one of the challenges for Lucky Carer right now is that he's right behind the number 22 Golf. Obviously, on the road, that doesn't really matter too much because of the penalty, but it might hold him up slightly. He's actually just trying to overtake him now as they go down the back straight.
He's just... The back straight, you mean the Wellington?
That one, yeah.
Right. And a new fastest lap, so Kevin Clark does the new fastest lap, 1 minute 3.121. I was actually about to say that Lucky Carer just had a new fastest lap, slightly slower than that, but it's now Kevin Clark, 1 minute 3.121, and the number 10 BMW is up into 5th place after its pit stop. It was interesting to see where Axel Van Nederveen feeds in once he's finished his pit stop.
Yeah, tyre change going on at the moment for Van Nederveen, and can't quite see. I assume they've changed all 4 tyres. But it looks like he was on the wet setup earlier on, and now going onto the drier tyres.
Yeah, there's certainly a drier line now on the exit of here at Beckett, so it's definitely the way to have it. Lucky Carer, I mean, that car just looks so potent on the way into here. The way that they sort of swoop to the left as they go through into the Maggotts and Beckett section just looks glorious, that BMW. I do like an old school E36, but that thing looks like it's really on rails down here, although I know that it's a borrowed car, but I think the indicator's hanging off on the right hand side.
Right, Kevin Clark now up into 3rd place in his recovery from the pit stop, so will he be ahead of Axel Van Nederveen next time around? I doubt it, whether it'll be the first time around. We're going to have everyone has made their pit stops, incidentally. Ollie Turner making 2. Of course, he's had to pay the penalty, the 13-second stop-go penalty, but he's done that now. So everybody has made their mandatory pit stop, and the order will give you in a lap's time, because it's still got to work out.
So Van Nederveen fires up, and he's on the way out of the pit lane as we speak. I'll have a quick word with one of the team crew. everything okay?
Yeah, everything's all good. Just a quick tyre change.
Excellent, well done, thank you.
Has anybody seen Mark Lee?
Yes, I thought I saw it go just said. Yes, Mark Lee.
Yeah, he has just come through. Yeah, apologies. He's just for a moment there, it didn't pick him up on the previous lap, which is why he's dropped down behind Baker, Clark and Kira. But he didn't illuminate in white as he does on TSL. But look at that fastest lap, 1:02.669 as Baker and Clark takes the lead apparently.
Yes, he's done a new fastest lap, 1:2.669 then. And Axel van Niederveen will slot in behind him after his pit stop, which seemed to me to take longer.
There's almost half a lap between them. Baker's just come into Beckett's now, and Van Niederveen's just getting to you.
Well, why is that?
I think there might have been an issue with the timing here for a second, because Baker suddenly jumped up from 5th to 1st in one lap, and it seemed to not pick up Lee for a second, like for an entire lap. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure that's correct.
Yeah, well. Anyway, Lucky Carer is second, 31. I can't understand how Axel van Niederveen has fallen to so far behind the BMW, let alone falling behind Lucky Carer, who may be driving the wheels off his car.
Fairly slick from where I was standing, guys, so as you say, I don't know where he's managed to lose all the time, but...
Yeah, he still is right in front of Mark Lee now as they get back towards me at Beckett, so that seems to all be in order, but he's lost a lot of time there. I mean, maybe it was about 9 seconds, the gap earlier, I think I remember you saying, Ian, so even if he has only lost 9 seconds, it's almost half a lap now, because they've just gone out of sight under the bridge, and Baker has just turned up right next to me here.
But he was, of course, he was leading.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was leading by a long shot as well. Sorry, it was Clark, wasn't it, that was that's driving now. Baker was driving earlier.
That's right. And even if Clark's quicker, he's not, excuse me, that much quicker to have opened up as lead as large as this. But the gap first to second is 33.9 seconds. So the battle to the end that we were hoping for at the moment on the screen isn't happening.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's not that much quicker, but Van Niederveen's last lap was a 1:05.4. Baker, Clark is doing a 1:02.5 last time round, almost 3 seconds a lap quicker. That's
but you need 10 laps at that sort of. We haven't had 10 laps at 3 seconds a lap difference, have we, to make up a 30-second difference.
It's very strange.
Anyway, the order is in the lead, the number 10 BMW, now driven by Kevin Clark, and it leads by a lot from the number 24 BMW, the borrowed BMW of Lucky Carer, who still hasn't come through in second place. But when he does, it's going to be something like half a minute, the gap between those two. Axel van Niederveen, last time through, was 14.8 seconds behind Lucky Carer. So unless there was a delay in the pit stop, Gary said that it looked like a slick stop, but unless there was some time lost in the pits by changing tyres on Axel van Niederveen's Ginetta, it's a mystery about why he is now falling back into the clutches of the guy he was dicing with earlier on, Mark Lee, in the other Ginetta.
As is the beauties of pit stops and endurance racing, I suppose.
Could it be, guys, that obviously because Axel was still on the wet tyres and they were starting to go off, and he'd lost time on the track before he came in?
Well, his lap times weren't that much slower, no. So, I mean, although there's no doubt that Kevin Clark is now lapping quicker and quicker and quicker on the right tyres for the drier track, Axel van Niederveen.
Oh, we've got Mark Lee, sorry, having a go at Van Niederveen now. They're side by side coming back towards you. He has to actually touch the brakes there. Mark Lee was on the right-hand side of Van Niederveen's just, there's no other words for it, he's just moved over on him, and he's just had to hit the brakes to make sure there wasn't contact.
Well, they're going through side by side through Brooklands on the inside line going into Luffield, and Mark Lee's got through. So Mark Lee is second, Axel van Niederveen down to third, which suggests he's on the wrong tyres for the conditions. But anyway, he's not shone in the way that he did in the first half of the race, has he, Axel van Niederveen? Certainly not at the moment. Anyway, he's been passed by Mark Lee, who has got this 5-second penalty. Car 45 now has a 10-second penalty for exceeding the track limits. That's Arthur McMahon. No, he did it earlier, didn't he? He got a 5-second penalty. I think he was the first penalised person in the race. But,
yeah, he was.
He's now got a 10-second penalty. That's not just 5 plus 5, it's 5 plus 10, so he's now got a 15-second total penalty. And we've got just under 11 minutes to go, 10 minutes and 50 seconds for the checkered flag. It's been a busy old race, this, hasn't it?
It has. I cannot believe how quickly it's flown by. With still, like you say, just under 11 minutes now. But Clark is really flying. He got held up by traffic a little bit around here last time out, so he's done 1:03.0. But there's only one other car in the 1:03s at the moment, and that's Lucky Kira, who's just done a personal best in the final sector, consistently doing 1:03.3s. But the lead gap is nearly 40 seconds. That BMW 1 Series is on a real mission.
And leads Class 1, of course. Leading Class 2 in 6th place is number 118, which is Dave May with the Jamsport Nissan. Leading Class 3 in 11th place is number 45.
That's McMahon, isn't it?
Arthur McMahon with his Honda Civic, but he's got all these penalties, so I can't see he's going to be able to hang on to that, but he's shown as being in 11th place.
He might actually hold that, you know. He's about 27 seconds ahead of the next Class 3 car at the moment.
Yeah, but you've got to be... Yeah, maybe 10 seconds, yes, added on. It's not a stop-go, it's a 10-second added to time penalty.
Yeah.
And Class 4 is headed by... Well, no, we don't have a Class 4 to worry about, do we? We have an invitation class. A Clio class, who's leading the Clios, is the number 67 car. In fact, there's not much to choose between the two of them. 67 and 41. 67 now always driven by James Black. 41 now driven by Steve Thompson. About 5 seconds behind his class rival. 9.25 minutes to go. Last time around, Kevin Clark did another new fastest lap at 1 minute 1.718. And yeah.
Kevin Clark coming on to the back of the Axel Van Liederveen
is
as they go through Cox. So is that to put a lap on him?
It is. It will be. He's right behind them now as they come into Beckett's onto the brakes, and yeah, there is a visual difference in how fast they are when they come through here. So as you said before, Kevin Clark really getting everything right at the moment. That BMW so dominant. He's only got Kira, Lee and Van Niederveen that aren't those are the only three that are on the same lap as him.
That's right.
Crazy. I mean, I know it's a short lap, but even still, that's very dominant performance, that is.
Yes, he's now 40 seconds ahead of Lucky Kira. Kevin Clark, 40.3 seconds ahead, and Mark Lee in 3rd place. He's not far short of a lap behind the leader.
No, that's true. Very true, because he's not too far up the road anyway. So, and I can report as well. In the world of fine details, the right indicator has come off Lucky Kira's car, so he's going to be getting an invoice for that.
It's a BMW, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, that's true. It's an optional extra, you know.
Yeah.
It's a £5 optional extra. That's why nobody goes for it. Either way.
I suspect that you've never bought a new BMW.
I've not, no.
So you can say these things,
yeah. I had a 4 Series GT once.
Oh dear.
A few years back.
No, to be fair, they're nice cars then. Yeah. I've got an estate so I can sleep in it.
Right. Back to what's going on the track. And in the lead, it's still number 10, by now 43 seconds of Lucky Kira. So Kevin Clark is now quite literally running away with the race. And Mark Lee in 3rd place is at risk of being lapped. In fact, he may already have been lapped by they just go through nose to tail. So Mark Lee heading down towards Cops Corner with the BMW closing in to lap it. Not like they were at the start of the race, dicing for position. There's now a lap between them, or there will be by the time they get back to you, Chaz.
We've just had an innocent bystander of a cone get absolutely chewed up by a Honda Civic that ran wide. I think it was the number 83 machine that had gone off the circuit, which is being driven by Steve and Edward Cook. I'm not sure which of them it was at the time, but yeah, Mark Lee...
It'll be Steve Cook now.
It will be, yes. I've just checked which one I put down as the start driver. Mark Lee has got the BMW filling his mirrors, not for the first time in this race, and unfortunately not for the reasons that he'd want at this stage.
41 has now picked up a penalty, 5-second penalty, and...
That's the Thompson & Thompson Clio in 2nd place in their class, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that scotches any chance they may have had of winning that class, I think.
It's a shame as well, because they were 5 seconds back earlier, and now all these cars are lapping them. They've caught right up, and it's the 2 different generations of Clio. One's a generation 4, if I remember correctly, and the other one's a generation 3. The older car leading the way at the moment, so it's nice to see those 2 different types of that car battling one another. We've got a slow BMW, the number 70 Team Britcar, going very slowly on the back straight down towards you.
Now 118 has picked up a 5-second penalty for exceeding the track limits. That's the class leading. Class 2 leading Nissan. And second in that class is the next one along. Their 7th and 8th respectively is the number 2. Now Andrew Bentley, Ginetta G40.
So he could very well take the class lead if he gets close enough by the end of the race. The gap at the moment, last time I saw it, I think was about 13 seconds. Yeah, it's still 13 seconds now. 13.9 to be exact. But he's just got a personal best though, so he's getting his foot down at least on the way there.
Well, is this Andrew Bentley who's raced all kinds of other things over the years?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so he's quite a quick driver, Andrew Bentley. He's a quick driver, Andrew Bentley. He's quite quick. So he's got a chance of doing that before the end. But the end is only now just under 5 minutes away.
I tell you what, the driver of the number 83 Civic has got a right foot made of lead, I swear. Every single time he comes out of here, it's just wheel spin galore. And
which one's this? Which Civic?
The number 83 Civic Type R EP3, silver and green card, just coming to you. Every single time he comes out of here, he's absolutely smashing it off the rev limiter. It's wheel spin galore. It sounds amazing. A friend of mine used to have one, and I love those cars. But yeah, I don't think it's doing much for his front tyres or his lap time.
Well, that's Steve cooking the tyres.
Yeah, quite literally, yes. Yeah, he's overcooked it a few laps ago as well.
Okay, right, well, we know who's going to win then. It doesn't look that though Kevin Clark's going to make a single mistake and bring the car home. What does that do in the championship, Steve? Is this going to not clinch the championship yet for them, is it?
No, another round to go. There's a drop score to be taken into account at the end of the season as well. So it's by no means done and dusted just yet. And with Kevin Clark will be missing the last rounds as well.
Because?
He'd be going to South Africa to run his track day business.
Oh, right. Now, Mark, I think you'll see that Mark Lee has not yet been lapped by Kevin Clark, is that right? As they come up to you?
Yeah, he's still in front at the moment, is Mark Lee. In front of the road at least, but yeah, that Ginetta seemingly coming into its own in these latter stages. Either that or Kevin Clark just knows that all he needs to do is sit there and he doesn't need to push the car too much. He's got a very healthy gap over Lucky Kera, who will be coming past you in just a moment, I think, but he's now 3 seconds a lap slower than he has been, is Kevin Clark.
There's the orange machine of Lucky Kera, and yeah, certainly Kevin Clark has slowed his pace because Lucky hasn't upped his, and the gap has stayed at 43 seconds for the last 2-3 laps, or stayed around that. So Mark Lee still in front as they go through, but I get the impression that Kevin Clark has just backed off now.
Yeah, it's a track day now.
It could be, yes, that's right.
He'll certainly be enjoying himself still, because I mean the amount of traffic that they've got to lap as well over the next couple of laps alone is just going to be some exhilarating stuff for them. A lot of different types of cars to get around. We've got a big lock-up by one of the many Clios and Golfs and Civics that's coming into Beckett's. Didn't quite catch who it was, but one of them really squealing the tyres on the way through here.
Steve, how often do the trophy class get to run on their own independently of the endurance?
Just this once.
Well, it's
the races are always separate races.
Yeah.
This is the only time they've run on their own weekend.
Right, they didn't come to Alton Park, for example, that was just the endurance.
They normally race on a Sunday, but the endurance races on Saturday.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, into the last couple of minutes of the race.
Oh, the three just had a jaw drop moment with the 308 making a great noise as it came past me here. We've got a slow grey Golf on the Wellington Straight, which is the number 77 car.
It's been slow for a while, that car. Came through here slow. Yeah, it's ailing.
Yeah, he's not having a good time of it by the look of it here.
Just cutting in quickly, guys, to say Kevin Clark came past me, and as you alluded to earlier on, he doesn't seem to be pushing it particularly hard, and he's actually happy to sit on the back of that little group and just bring it home.
Yeah, he's still doing that now, to be fair. Mark Lee has got past some of the slower traffic, and Kevin Clark, well, he's sort of going with him. He knows that when he's on the straights, you know, he doesn't need to hold back there. He can just put his foot down, but he's just filling the mirrors of Mark Lee's Ginetta now, almost for a laugh, as this race comes to a close.
Yeah, they'll be starting their last lap next time through. There's that lovely little Giulietta, Alfa Romeo Giulietta going through.
He's been having a good scrap, actually. There was a car just in front of him before. The actual make and model escapes me, but he was having a really, really good fight. I think it was when the 118 Nissan went through to lap him, but he actually sort of stuck with him for a couple of laps.
On to the last lap then goes the leader, just still behind the third place car, Mark Lee's Ginetta. Axel van Nederveen, whatever the reason may be, there must be an explanation, but he's certainly not shown the pace that he was showing earlier on. He's done quicker laps in the second half of the race, but that's a function of the track being drier, I think.
Yeah.
And in fifth place, we have number 40, which is now being driven by Jasper Sapra.
The leaders are just coming back with you now, Ian. He just got a really clean run out of Beckett's, and he should be through and home and dry. And in the Clio class, by the way, I think Thompson and Thompson might grab this over Black. You know, Black's dropped back quite a lot here. Even with the penalty to think about. It was a 5-second penalty, wasn't it?
On the screen, Thompson's shown ahead of Black.
Yeah, I think last time round he got past, but this time Black's just had an issue here.
Right, well, in amongst this group of cars up to the checkered flag. The checkered flag is waved not at Mark Lee, although you could hardly avoid being shown to Mark Lee, because right behind him was the winner, then the BMW 1 Series number 10 of Kevin Clark. The car started by championship leader Simon Baker, and still to take the flag, the last driver to do so, hopefully he's aware of the situation, which I'm sure he will be Mark Lee in third place. Oh, now why has that happened? Axel van Nederveen has been put back into third place, and I think that goes back to our speculation about whether they lost a lap for that car.
I think Lee's penalty has actually put him back that far. Van Nederveen just about stayed with him, didn't he?
But Lee hasn't.
I think they might have added the penalty at the end of the race.
Yeah.
So you may get the Thompsons as well to fulfill that.
All right. So Lee has yet to take the flag, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's showing that he's come through, but
he's not taking the flag.
Like you say, on the timing screen, it's as if he has, but.
Yeah.
And Kevin Clark did another lap. He's done another lap.
He's enjoying himself so much he doesn't want to come in.
But what we do want is
clarification.
No, yes, it's gone back. So yes. Now that Mark Lee has taken the flag, he's back into third place, ahead of Axel van Nederveen. Yeah. The point being, of course, that whatever penalty Mark Lee has, he was on a different lap from Axel van Nederveen, who was a lap behind because he was behind them.
Right.
Whereas Mark Lee, by staying in front, stayed on the same lap as the winner. Axel van Nederveen was a lap behind.
Right, okay.
So that's what negates the penalty.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Van Nederveen lost a lot of time in that pit stop. That was a real mystery.
Yeah. So the winner is the number 10 BMW 1 Series of Simon Baker and Kevin Clark, with fastest lap to Kevin Clark credit as well. Second, number 24, Lucky Carer in the orange BMW M346. In third place, number 74, the Ginetta of Mark Lee. In fourth place, a lap behind, number 111, the Ginetta of Axel van Nederveen. In fifth place, number 40, the BMW M346 of Brian Branson to begin with, and then Jasper Sapra. In sixth place, number 308, Steve Rothery's Peugeot 308. In seventh place, and winning class 2, number 2, Peter Spano, Andrew Bentley, Ginetta G40. And second in class 2, 8th overall, number 118, picked up a penalty, the David May, Mark Skeets Nissan. In ninth place, number 22, running in the invitation class, Ollie Turner's Volkswagen.
Well, hello everybody, welcome down to Parc Fermé. That was a fraught and exciting race with the weather and the dry track playing a big trick, wasn't it? Here, number 111, Axel van Diemen and Adriano Medeiros. Here they are. Well, that was an exciting race, wasn't it? But a bit of a tactical one with a dry track, it seems.
Jesus Christ. It was good, but clearly we had problems in qualifying in the dry.
Yeah.
We were so much slower than yesterday for no real reason. clearly in the dry they just drove past.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
But we've got to do it all again a little bit later as well. So perhaps, you know, iron out a few tweaks to get back out there.
Yeah.
Still, third place. Come on. It's not that bad, is it? Right, so let's keep going. We are just waiting for the remainder to come through. Here is Lucky Keir as well, car number 24. Let's go grab a word with him. In fact, we spoke to Lucky a little bit earlier today. He's got to be a happy man with second place. First time actually driving this car in anger as well. And here he is. We'll just let him get out first of all, because we'll do the honourable thing. Lucky, come on, you've driven this before, haven't you?
No, I haven't, to be honest.
A great performance. What was it like out there?
I was on a soft setup to begin with dry tyres. That was sketchy. I just couldn't get any traction at all. And then we stiffened it up in the pit stop, and then it was all
more to come in race 2, do you think? You get more out of this?
It depends what the weather's like and get the setup right.
Well, congratulations anyway, second place. Here we are, car number 10, Simon Baker and Kevin Clark here as well. Let's just let the chaps get out. Here they are, the victors once again, car number 10. Let's just go and grab a quick word. Yeah, if we can, yeah, absolutely. We'll just grab a quick word. Congratulations, how are you feeling after that? Probably in need of a drink, I think. So just bear with us. There we go, look, top man, have a drink if you want, because I think you deserve it after that. I'll let you have a quick sip, and then we'll grab a quick word if we can. There we go. Right, you kind of led from start to finish really, but it wasn't so easy, was it? A drying track proving quite difficult for everyone.
No, and it's on such a small circuit that, you know, there's an awful lot of cars on a small circuit, but to be honest with you, I didn't meet one problem, to be honest. You can't take it for granted, but everybody just drives so sensible. It's really good. It's nice to know that you can trust, but you still got that thing in your mind. Is he going to come across on me? And you just, no, I really enjoyed it, and it was... it's easy when you stood here now to say yes, it was easy, but it wasn't when you're out there.
Well, look, I've got to tell you one thing, you've got to do it all again later. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good man. Excellent, go get your trophy. There you go. That ends out the race here, the very first race of the day. I'm going to hand back to your commentator to talk you through what's going to happen next.
Quick word, have a glove, get your thirst back. So, the last session for you looks as if you were sort of backing it off quite a bit in that last bit.
Well, the thing is with these tready tyres, they do go soft and they start walking around, and you know, so you've got to look after them to get to the end of the race. So I didn't need to push the car so hard. Certainly the Ginetta was still going well. I'd obviously had a clear run up to the back of him, but I just thought there's no point in dicing with him to get past him when I don't need to.
You knew how much gap you'd got?
The lads did tell me I was in the lead. They don't tend to go on too much about the gap, but yeah, just if you're in the lead, that's all you can hope for.
Simon did a good first stint for you.
Simon did a fantastic job. I mean, those were the tricky conditions, and yeah, he handled that brilliantly. I was really proud of him. Very good.
So more to come later on, yeah?
Yeah, we just have another go. I'm not going to say do the same again, because you never
Be
know.
welcome down to the assembly area. It is almost now time for the beer marks of the saloons, and here we are. We've just nipped down to the assembly area. Look at this, Holden. Oh my word, how nice is this? We are here with Andy Woodstein. He's walking away, but let's see if we can just grab a quick word of him. Andy, how was qualifying?
Very slippy.
Very slippy.
Yeah, it was understeery, oversteery all over the place. So yeah, it was kind of.
That sounds a bit like the Womble song, doesn't it? Understeery.
Yeah. It was exciting.
It was. Things look like they're drying out a little bit, actually, unexpected as well.
Yeah, I mean, they said it was going to rain around about sort of 1 o'clock, and it's grey, but I don't think it's going to rain yet. It might at the end of the race, but it's a bit of a lorry. You just don't know what to go out with. It is what it is.
I'll tell you what, though, forget about that. What an absolute beauty this is.
Yeah.
What is this like to drive around here?
It's a bit of an animal. Yeah, it's not sophisticated. It's way before all the clever stuff. It's just very analogue. You put your foot down and it goes, and you take your foot off and it slows down. And if you give it too much around a corner, it's going to spin out.
You've got to fight it.
It's a wrestle. No power steering.
No.
So yeah.
You must have massive guns then.
It's only the third time I've raced it, so it's a bit of a learning curve.
Well, best of luck for the race, won't you? We will be watching. I'm just going to move out of the way. Look at this. We've got some wonderful sights here as well, haven't we? Oh, look at that. Number 45 coming through. We've got number 180 just alongside us as well. And of course, this is Mark Williams. Let's grab a quick word with Mark, shall we? Mark. How's it going? How was qualifying?
All good, yeah, everything was going well. Yeah, car's going nice. Didn't have the time I'd like to have had in qualifying, but weather conditions were permitting that, really, to me.
Excellent. This is such a whippet, isn't it? It must be what's it like going around the corners?
Yeah, it can get a little bit light on the back, but otherwise it's a lot of fun. You always get out smiling.
I'll let you crack on the way. Cheers, Mark. There we go. I think there's quite a lot going on. It is almost time for the race to get underway, so we are going to hand over to the commentator to take you through the action of what promises to be an eye-catching race.